So for me personally, it was kind of by chance. I had some interests, but I kind of wanted to keep my options open, so I studied communication. So I started interning in a feature film development office.
En el camp del disseny, en concret de la tipografia, el que m'hi va fer entrar va ser la capacitat de les lletres com a eines per a la comunicació, no? Com a petites molècules, petites peces que a partir de la seva combinatòria podem ser capaços de transmetre pensament i coneixement.
I came from a classical ballet background, so I fascinate with the body, have done for a very long time, and I studied interior design and then moved to London and worked in architecture. So my work is kind of compressing all of that background into one.
When I was in school, I ended up doing a lot of lettering work for projects just because I couldn't afford good typefaces. So sort of out of necessity, I ended up drawing a lot of my own lettering for my projects. At the time, I thought I was drawing fonts, but I came to realize later that that's not what I was doing.
For me, creativity is something that it doesn't just live in the art world. So it's kind of a way of seeing the world in general.
And then I ended up in illustration sort of naturally because when I originally went to school, I went because I loved to draw. And illustration was kind of a perfect combination of what I originally intended to do, plus this wonderful newfound field of design.
Actually, it started when I was a tiny kid and I used to play with Lego. And the best thing about Lego is you get to make toys that you don't have. And I think still, when I look at what I do, is I'm creating things that I don't have that I wish I had.
So I just ended up loving illustration, and lettering and illustration are really very, very similar industries. So lettering ultimately combined everything that I loved about design and everything that I loved about image making.
Well, I'd always been creative ever since I was young. I always liked drawing, but I didn't know that that could be a job. I just thought that that was something that I did.
I went into computer game industry when I was maybe 20 after a short education. So I went into the computer game industry, creating cinematics, high-end CG render movies, and from there stepping into the advertising.
It wasn't until maybe around high school that I started entering painting competitions and like really thought like, okay, I'm going to do art for a living, like that'll be my work.
I changed a lot. In the beginning I was very much inspired by architecture. I would say now I'm very inspired by science and biology.
People like David Carson.
Most of them have come from feature film. Baz Luhrmann is a person, Luc Besson is another one I look to a lot for inspiration.
Els artistes de l'avantguarda històrica, els constructivistes, dadaistes, des de Lisinski, Rodchenko, Malevich, Schwitters, que van fer una gran tasca a l'hora d'alliberar la lletra i convertir la lletra en imatge. No?
Louise Feely, because I was able to work with her, she's been a big inspiration in terms of actually the kind of work that I'm interested in, the way that I work, and also the way that I approach my business, because she's a really wonderful business lady too. And then when I was in college, I was a huge fan of Marion Banshees.
Intro cutscenes for, I think it was maybe Warcraft or some other game made by Blizzard Entertainment, and they had these really super awesome cutscenes that always started their games, and I think it must have been around there.
I think probably Chris Cunningham is one of the artists that inspired me a lot.
A nivell específic de disseny gràfic o disseny de tipografia, jo tinc dos grans referents que són Matthew Carter i Gerard Unger.
Cy Twombly I really, really love. From the standpoint that I wish I could write programs that do what he does. In terms of like form and color, I really like Jean-Michel Basquiat. I really like Basquiat's color combination. I like an old school Dutch painter by the name of Odd Nerdrum.
People like Ridley Scott, Stanley Kubrick, David Lynch, Tim Burton. Interesting phenomena in nature.
I just try things, and some things work and some things don't.
Like, we talk a lot.
If we can't get the idea right, then someone else will. Like, I think we kind of ask a lot of questions and ask everyone to become involved, so that, you know, it's never on us. It's never on just one person. I think you kind of have the support of everyone all the time.
Not prejudge any situation or anybody's opinion, and you can kind of look to inspiration from anywhere with no preconceived ideas of what you should get from it. So I think for me, the best way to find inspiration and be creative is to stay open.
Every time you get a new project, you first read the brief. Okay, that's done. And then you do brainstorming. Okay, that's done. What did I get from brainstorming? Okay, let's do thumbnails. Okay, beyond thumbnails, let's do sketches. It's when you skip those steps, the steps that allow you to really think and explore, and you just jump to execution, that's when you feel really blocked because you haven't really explored everything that you can do for the project.
So it's just like an idea or playing with the material, and then it spirals upwards into something else.
So it usually starts with just some idea. And then I love to work with photographs, found photographs, Polaroids, snapshots. I've collected a lot of stuff that I've done, just scraps and pieces, so I just grab. I love to experiment with words and anything I can find. So different kinds of pens and different kinds of tape. And
as soon as you start working and experimenting, then you discover things that you didn't think were possible.
There is no blocked. There's no blocking when you sit down and you make the things that you want to make.
Just start experimenting, yeah.
I think something that helps us is changing the environment, just to change your mindset.
Put it aside, sleep on it, and then the next day come back at it fresh and try to approach the project again. And if you don't give that time, then you're never quite sure if the approach that you've taken is the smartest approach.
Doncs moltes vegades necessito això, escampar la boira, no? Sortir fora. Aquí a la ciutat és una mica difícil, la veritat. Vull dir que a vegades surts un moment, vas a fer un cafè, tornes a entrar, però el que realment a mi em carrega les piles és sortir a la muntanya, anar al Pirineu, fer muntanya, fer bicicleta i respirar aire.
Also, something that helps is doing stuff that you're not used to, like trying a new craft maybe.
It's the difference between being an artist and a designer is, as a designer, you have to solve a client's problems. I don't like doing that anyway, so I hate it when I have to solve a client problems. What I like doing is I like doing what I want to do, and I already know what I want to do. On the flip side, just looking at other people's work, looking at lots of work. I spend a lot of time looking at what other people have done now, 100 years ago, and then I might use that might inspire a completely different project.
If somebody asked me to do something that I didn't want to do, yeah, I'd be fucking blocked. So the problem is the experience that you're having with being blocked is because you're doing things that you don't want to do. Now, you may have to do that for a while.
That's great. It's really cool.
It's a good venue to see new stuff and to be able to be seen.
Oh, it's such a great conference. It's so far really good.
See some new stuff, get inspired.
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah. I love seeing people's workspaces, and I'm all about the kind of like dirty parts, the messy parts, the imperfect things that people do as opposed to the final piece.
Oh, off is great.
I've been here since the first one. This is my 12th off.
But it's still really fascinating for me to see the talks and presentations of other people who are in a very different field to me, who I might not even know, but really inspiring.
A mi em sembla com a festival, em sembla un esdeveniment interessant. També és un bon aparador de lo que s'està fent i de les diferents propostes de diferents especialitats en el disseny i la creativitat.
It's an amazing experience also to be around all these really incredible people.
Oh, Off is amazing. Off is really great. I mean, it's definitely one of the most interesting festivals around.
This is one of the things that, I wait all year for. What kind of project can I do that allows me to be next to people all day long? I love Off. I love the people who come to Off. I love the culture of Off. I love the fact that it provides me a platform to meet other designers, whether they're professionals or newcomers.
My advice would be to experiment as much as you can in the university, because that's what it's from, and you can learn After Effects or programs. You can learn that later. You don't need to learn programs or tools in the university, because at the time when you graduate it's going to be old news anyway, because every year there's a new version coming out. It's super quick to learn. You can just watch tutorials on the internet or whatever, so it's really the important thing is to experiment.
I think that the biggest thing is just you have to love it. If it's design, amazing. If it's illustration, amazing. But don't let other people tell you what you should be doing for a living.
I think work hard and just try to become better every day.
Don't be too afraid of the companies out there that you want to work at. Let's say a lot of people have maybe a dream company, and they look up to that company and think it's impossible to get a job there, or all the people working there are so good at this and that. And it's important to remember that those people working there are just normal people, just like you and me.
There's no right and wrong in this field. You have to go for it and believe in yourself, because everyone, it's not about what you are. You're a photographer, you're a filmmaker. It's about finding your voice and your stories. Have a journal, write everything down, find out what turns you on, ideas and this and that or whatever, and then just all kind of, it's hard, keep working on it. And
it's like if you have a dream or an idea or a concept that you really want to do, just do it. Just go out and do it. It can be done, and the only one who puts a limit to it is yourself.
Just be patient, because it's a world of having to learn an awful lot, and it takes a lot of time to learn an awful lot, and the more you learn, the more you realize there's more to learn. So be patient and just don't give up.
Picar una mica de cada camp per saber realment cap a on decantar la teva vocació, perquè et donis compte de què és el que realment t'interessa. Penso que està bé que un cop has picat una mica de tot, que et prenguis unes setmanetes o un mes de vacances per pensar realment cap a on vols tirar.
When it's hard, keep going. And if you make a mistake, wonderful. Keep making mistakes, because then you'll find new things.
So you shouldn't think about the finished thing at the end. You should think about all the small steps. A lot of times I don't know what the final thing is going to be, right? So usually it's just like I have an idea and I start sketching, and then from that sketching I start trying things, and then I try, fail, fail, and then eventually I get someplace that I make this beautiful thing, and then boom, you're seeing that final thing at the very, very end. And this is also, like 2 months worth of work. I had to make all the drawings, then I had to write the program that used the drawings, and then I had to run that program like 1,000 times until I got this particular composition, because all the other ones weren't that good. This one was pretty good. Don't look at the final thing.